What has happened to me? The Testimony of an Uyghur Woman. By Tomomi Shimizu. This is a story which takes place before 2017, when things were better than afterwards. I am 29 years old. An Uyghur woman. I married in Egypt 5 years ago and gave birth to healthy triplets. We all lived happily together. In 2015, I flew home with my triplets to meet my parents. Shortly after arriving at Urumqi Airport, the authorities arrested me and 45-day-old babies. I had no idea what I have done wrong. Of course, I have never committed any crime. The authorities repeatedly interrogated and tortured me with an electric shock. One day, I was paroled since my children became sick. I could only see them through the glass window. Next day, they gave me a dead body of my son. That was my eldest son, who was born the biggest of the triplets. Oddly, the 3 babies had surgical scars on their necks. They said it was to nourish by a tube on their neck. No further details were given. I went back home and started working. Then the authorities called me.
Turn yourself in. Otherwise, you become an arrest warrant.
I had no choice but to turn myself in. And I got detained again.
Why did you go abroad? Tell us who you met.
I was interrogated for 3 days and nights without sleep. I was repeatedly beaten by a dozen police officers. It was too difficult to endure the torture and I murmured, Allah?
If your God is more powerful than us, come rescue you.
Kill me. Right now.
We will not let you die that easily.
I kept thinking about how to take my own life, but I couldn't do anything because of the surveillance. Inside the cell, the lights were always on for 24 hours, and there were cameras in every corner watching us. Over 50 persons were detained in the cell. There was not enough space to rest and we had to sleep in shifts every 2 hours. During the day, we had to pray for the chairman of the authorities to live long, and sing songs hailing communism. They forced us to take different kinds of unknown pills and have injections every single day. After the injection, the site became inflamed. I felt weak for a week and at times lost my memory. A few people have been continuously removed from the cell, but at the same time, new people will be added. From the neighboring cell, I hear the beating, the screaming, and the people being dragged. There was a woman who died after bleeding for over a month. I was sent to a mental hospital after I lost consciousness from the beatings. I could go back to my home, but 2 of the staff followed me. They stayed at my place, ate our food, and followed me every time I went out. As a consequence, I could not tell any truth, even to my parents. Shortly, I was detained again. This was the 3rd time. This time, I was dressed in an orange prison uniform.
Be prepared. You are imprisoned for life or death.
Then the police told me.
Write a letter to your husband and children because you are going to die soon. We will send the letter to them, so tell us where they live.
Since my children were Egyptian nationals, the Egyptian government asked the authorities why the children were not with their parents. I was allowed to take my children to Egypt. But the authorities detained 26 of my relatives and told me,
come back in 2 months. We will release your relatives.
What is the reason I had to face so many hardships in the past 3 years?
It is because you are Uyghur.
After arriving in Egypt, I found my husband was missing. From his colleague, I learned that he went to Xinjiang to look for me and got detained at the airport and sentenced to 16 years in prison. While I was in Egypt, the authorities called me over and over again.
We will not detain you. We promise to give you the right job for your career. So come back.
I broke off relationships with my relatives. Even within Egypt, my children and I were harassed. Eventually, Uyghurs in Egypt began to get deported. I sought help from the United States. The US government assured our safety and promised to protect us. We currently live in America thanks to the US government. But even in the United States, the harassment did not stop. Someone rings the doorbell at midnight, the Chinese run around in a car, and strangers stalk a grocery store. Because of the harassment, we had to relocate 3 times. When I got checked out in the hospital, the doctor told me, "Your body cannot get pregnant 90%. The drugs and injections taken in the camp were probably aimed at preventing pregnancy. My eldest son who passed away will not return no matter what." I decided to talk to the world about what happened to me. My name is Miragle Tursun. Please find out about the Uyghurs and tell our stories to the people around you.